Hi, everyone. Mr. Bryan here, pronouns he and him. And over here, somewhere on your screens is.
Hey, it's Miss Danielle. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We are with the Quinn Street Project, and the Quinn Street Project is all about telling a story using the three tools of the actor. Number one, body. Number two, voice. And number three, imagination. Using those three tools to bring drama to your screens. And in this case, playwriting. This week, we are talking about African American theater with lesson 5. We have 10 lessons in total. And now these lessons are going to be working towards creating a portfolio of various pieces of performance, writing, and more. Now, by the end of our 10 lessons, everyone will have created something based on a new style of storytelling. Now, before we do anything else, I want you to just take a deep breath and breathe out. Lower those shoulders. Now, close your eyes. This is a safe space. So right now, I just want you to just check in with how you're feeling today. Thumbs up if we're feeling good. Thumbs to the side if so, and thumbs down if we're not feeling too great. All feelings are valid. So when I say go and not before, I want you to bring those thumbs up to the screen and show us how you're feeling today with a thumbs up, thumbs to the side, or thumbs down. And ready, set, go. And just keep it up there so we can all see. And by all, I just mean myself and Miss Danielle. All right, we're checking in with everyone here, being respectful. And in 3, 2, 1, I want you to bring those thumbs down. All right, excellent. And now what I want you to do is reach up for the sky. Reach up for the sky as high as you can. We're just gonna warm up our bodies a little bit here and drop one hand, drop the other hand, and keep reaching to the sky and wave your hands this way. Wave your hands this way. And when I say go, I want you to wave your arms in the air like crazy. Ready, set, go. And shake your whole body, and freeze. And drop one arm, but not the shoulder. Keep that shoulder up. Drop the other arm, but not the shoulder. And now take a big deep breath in, raise those shoulders up. And with an exhale, release one shoulder. Take one more big deep breath in. And with an exhale, release that other shoulder. All right, roll those shoulders backwards at your own pace. Big rolls backwards, big rolls backwards, big rolls forward, big rolls forward. All right, and let's channel our imagination a little bit here. So stick out your tongue. Yes, I said stick out your tongue. Ha. Eyes big and stick out your tongue. Ha. And eyes big, even bigger. Stick out your tongue bigger and put up your paws. Ha. And this is your lion. Yeah, this is your lion face. So show me your lion face. Ha. As big as you can. Bigger, bigger, bigger. Ha. And let that go. And I want you to channel that imagination and reach into your brainium and pull out a lemon. And I want you to look at that lemon and say, hello, lemon. And I want you to say, I'm going to eat you. And bite into that lemon. Except it's sour, haha. And drop that lemon. And this is your sour lemon face. Show me your lemon face. Squeeze, scrunch your face. Get your hands involved. Roll your shoulders forward. And this is your lemon face. Let it go. Excellent. And show me your lemon face one more time. Make it nice and small. And let that go. Excellent. And one more time. Lemon face. And let that go. And now puff out your chest. Hands on your hips. Point one arm to the sky. This is your superhero pose. So get nice and big. See how this feels. Superhero pose. And give me the other direction with the superhero pose. And let that go. And now I want you to twiddle your fingers like so. And tilt your head down. And give me a nice evil smile. And I want you to give me a repeat after me. Give me a ho ho ho. And give me your most evil. Excellent. And let that go. And now put your hands on your belly and take a big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Excellent. And what I want you to do now, clap your hands together, rub your hands together, and faster. Rub those hands faster so they get nice and warm. And when I say go, and not before, keep rubbing, you're going to feel the energy that you're carrying with you today. And you're going to open it up, and you're going to feel that ball of energy within your hands. So keep rubbing, and open it up. Now, some of us are going to have a lot of energy. Some of us might be carrying a little bit today, and some of us just a little, somewhere in between. So form that ball of energy that you feel in front of you. Stay on screen. Just listen to my voice. You don't have to look at me, but form that ball of energy. And from that ball of energy, take it and put it where you need it. Take it and put it where you need it. Right now, I need some in my neck. Here's some in my legs. Just pat where you need that energy. And once you've done so, give me your eyes. All right, I'll give you another 3 seconds, 2, 1. And what I want you to do now is, I want you to reach your hands forward and flip them around like so, and cross your hands and cross your fingers and pull them under and through. And we're going to take a big deep breath in and big deep breath out. Give yourself a hug and check in with yourself. Pat yourself. Make sure everything is okay today. Everything's okay today. But make sure you're checking in with yourself completely. Take your time, and I want you to make sure you're also remembering that this is a safe space. I say that a lot, but I want you to remember this is a safe space. So if something doesn't feel right, hit pause, come back to us when you're ready. And slowly bring your eyes up, eyes forward. And I want you to take a look around, make sure your space is clear. We don't need a lot of space, just enough to be able to stretch out your arms. I got a water bottle nearby, so I'm going to slide that over so I don't smack it. All right. And now, my friends, we're going to do an activity called beginning, middle, and end. All right. Beginning, middle, and end. Now, I'm going to ask for some volunteers now. So let me see. Oh, Miss Danielle and Miss Anna. Look at that. So let's do this. Hello. And Miss Anna, I am going to do an activity with you both called beginning, middle, and end. And let's say this. I'm going to be beginning. And who would like to be middle? Miss Danielle, you are going to be middle. And Miss Anna, you are going to be end. All right. Now we're going to tell a story, a brand new story, using 3 sentences. Now, for beginning, you are going to use the start. Once upon a time, and then fill in the blank. For middle, you're going to say, until one day. That's right. And then fill in the blank. And then Miss Anna, and every day after that, for your end, and fill in the blank. For each story, we're going to just think of a title, some sort of theme that connects everything. So right now, let's see, let's do this. Miss Anna, what is a title to a story that you've never heard before?
The Busy Life of Jupiter John.
Love it. The Busy Life of Jupiter John. Once upon a time, there lived a man named Jupiter John. And now, Miss Danielle.
Until one day, you ran into Saturn Sally.
Till one day, you ran into Saturn Sally.
And every day after that, they squared off and created tension in the sky.
Squared off and created tension in the sky. I love it. And at the very end of every story, I want us all to say the end. 1, 2, 3.
The end.
Excellent. Now, my friends, for this story, what were the 5 W's of this story? What were the 5 W's? The who, the what, the where, the when. I'm running out of screen. And why. So, who is in this story? Who is in this story, Miss Anna?
I would say that Jupiter John and Saturn Sally were in the story.
I would say you are correct. I don't know why I got that excited. But what is happening in this story? What is happening in this story? Miss Danielle, what is happening in this story?
Well, one of the things that happens is they meet each other. There's
They do
a couple
meet each
things, right? And
Yeah.
they, what was it? They create tension.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you for typing that. Now, when does this take place? Now, that's the cool part about this story. Like for some reason, okay, so we always use the text for analysis to figure out where we pull stuff from and how we can, like get the information and just like, but in this one, there's something like, there's just a feel to the story where to me, and I'm going to ask my partners here, to me, it feels like it took place a long time ago because we have that tension in the sky and we have Jupiter John and Saturn Sally. Because at first, those names make me think like, oh, the future. But then, like the tension in the sky, that makes me think of something that took place a long time ago. So I'm going to throw it to, let's go the other way. Miss Danielle, what do you think? When do you think this takes place?
Well, it's funny you say you think it's in the past because I thought it might have been in the future. Maybe it's people living in space.
I don't know. Miss Anna, what do you say?
I like both theories, and I was actually envisioning it in the present.
Oh, so my
So
friends, yeah. So my friends that watching at home or wherever you are, for deciding on the who, what, where, when, and why, remember, you can, of course, go to the story and pull from it, but sometimes you have to just justify it based on what you think the story is leaning towards. So just pull from it and make a decision and try your best. It's like drama. First thought, best thought, pull it from what we got and go from there. All right. Now, where does this take place? Where does this take place? Well, let's see here. We can make some educated guesses from the text we created. We could have Jupiter John, it could be Jupiter. We have Saturn Sally, it could be Saturn. It can be space because, we have that. It could be either one of the planets. Or it could even be, since tension in the sky, it could be in our skies above. It could be up above. So that's what I mean when I say text analysis, pulling from it, but then just making an educated guess. All right. Now, the why. Jupiter John, once upon a time, Jupiter John meet each other, create tension. All right. Well, the why is really in the support of everything. It's two parts. The why is supporting everything that we go through. So the who, the why is pulling from the text. The what, they meet each other. We pull from the text. Now, the why is simply, why are we telling this? Could also be, why are we telling the story? Why do you think we're telling the story? Now, we just made it up, but why? Maybe we wanted an adventure in the sky. Maybe we really just wanted to tell a story about love. Who doesn't love love? All right. So I'm going to say my why is because I wanted a sci-fi adventure. Now, what's your why, Miss Anna?
my why would be how to navigate relationships with other people when you're not set up to get along right away.
Yeah, mine is very similar. Thinking that we run into people that are not like us all the time and finding ways to get along or acknowledge our differences and work together instead of there being tension.
Oh, I like that. Finding ways to get along and acknowledge differences and work together instead of. So with our review of the 5 W's, we're going to tell the story one more time, knowing the specificity in this. All right. So, my friends at home, you have Jupiter, John, and Saturn, Sally. Once upon a time, there lived a man named Jupiter John.
Until one day he ran into Saturn Sally.
And every day after that, they squared off and created tension in the sky.
The end.
Very nice. Thank you. All right. Now, my friends at home, once we have the story, once we solidified the 5 W's, the story even got more specific and clearer. Right? And that's what storytelling is all about. We want to convey that story to our audience. We want to make sure it reaches them. And that includes the 5 W's and the message behind it as clearly as we want. All right. And now, guess what? It's your turn. So at home, you're going to create your once upon a time, until one day, and every day after that. Now, don't think too hard. Just go with that first thought that comes to mind. And then you are going to break it down with the 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, and why. And you can do as many as you want, but honestly, just give it a try one time through and get as specific as you can. And then if you feel so brave, send it to us. Send it to us at Quinn Street. We would love to see all the hard work that you're doing. So right there on the screen, quinnandstreet@gmail.com. All right. And now for our next segment, we're moving to Miss Danielle, who will introduce us to something very cool.
So now that we've worked on understanding the basics of storytelling, being able to include the 5 W's, I want us to talk a little bit about a Shakespeare company. Now, William Shakespeare was a playwright in the late 1500s, 1600s. So this was a long, long time ago. I want you to remember that. In the 1820s, there was a company called the African Grove Theater. They were based in New York City in the 1820s. And all of the company members were Black and African American. This included actors, playwrights, directors, things like that. They ended up being the most popular theater group in New York, and they sold more tickets than any other Shakespeare company in the city. In 1821, they produced Shakespeare's play called Richard III. But what they did differently is they created the play. Now remember, we said William Shakespeare wrote a long, long time ago. So his text was really old. They took this old text and they made it more contemporary and modern for the times that they were living in. So they use it as a way to discuss issues that they were dealing with at that time, like white supremacy and colonization. And this made them even more popular. In the next year, 1822, they moved to a larger theater that was run and managed by white people. And they ended up getting banned from performing Shakespeare. The owner staged a riot and blamed the theater artists. So think about some of those things that might be happening today also. Now we're gonna use one of Shakespeare's plays, Romeo and Juliet. We're gonna look at a small section, and Miss Anna's gonna guide us through the 5 W's as we read through that section. And we're gonna have a time to work on this piece and create our own new modern version using concepts that we are dealing with today. So Miss Anna, can you take it away?
I can. And I just wanted to emphasize, thank you so much for going through that, Miss Danielle, because I just want to emphasize that the reason that we're framing this lesson as African American and Black American theater is because we want to really talk about how historically, even though William Shakespeare was an old, dead English dude, there were young, Black and African American artists who used this old, even then, even the 1820s is a long time ago now. So Shakespeare was dead a really long time then too. But the young people used this old dusty text to talk about like contemporary issues. And that's what we're really trying to highlight here. Anything else that anyone wants to add about that before I bring up the prologue?
No, I just, well, I guess yes, but no, I just think it's really cool that Shakespeare, speaking from someone like that didn't get introduced to it till I was, older. Um, the cool thing about Shakespeare is it seems like it's something that's like a lot harder than it seems overwhelming, I guess is what I'm trying to say at first approach. And you think, I don't need, I don't need this. It doesn't really relate to me. But the crazy thing is like the themes and messages that are happening within Shakespeare still carry over to today. And anyone that's still with me on the screen that's paying attention, it really does carry and relate to our core problems, I want to say visceral, but
Human
yeah,
experience.
the experience. Thank you. That's a much better way of saying it. So give it an extra, just like, I guess, chance here, and just really hone in, because I promise you that you're going to be able to see exactly the same thing that he was experiencing today.
Yeah, I think what we want you to think about when we're reading this is, what are the experiences that are being talked about? Not just the specific details, but what is the experience? Because that's what you're going to use to take and apply to something that you understand, that you can relate to.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not familiar with Richard III, Richard III is a play. The reason it's important that it's Richard III that the African Grove Theater put on is because it's about a corrupt leader who is murdering people and, taking a path to the top of the monarchy in England with through all the wrong pathways, by hurting all the wrong people. Well, there is no right person to hurt, but by hurting people, by, manipulating people. And so the reason it's important that that's the play that they chose is because in the 1820s, remember, we didn't have the Civil War until 40 years after that. Slavery was still very much in the present day of America at the time. And there was no, segregation, and enslaved people were still normal, right? So the African Grove Theater was trying to use Shakespeare, this old dusty white person play, to change those 5 W's like we were talking about earlier, and say, what if we take this thing that you like and know, and we put ourselves in these positions to change the 5 W's just a little bit to show how you can reflect our lived experience right now. So just a little extra context because it's important. All right. So I'm the Shakespeare nerd on the screen, which is why I'm the one who's going to talk about this real quick. But we're going to talk about the prologue from the play Romeo and Juliet. You may have heard of the play Romeo and Juliet before. It's one of Shakespeare's most famous plays. It's one of the first plays that he wrote. And, if you've seen the new movie West Side Story, it's not really a new movie, but there's a new version of the movie. It's based on Romeo and Juliet. Maybe you grew up with the cartoon Romeo and Juliet. I've not seen it, but I've heard it's similar because it's based on that. So the prologue, if you've ever seen a movie or a TV show or read a book with a prologue, it means that something, pro is Latin for before, and log is text. So prologue means that this is a piece of text before the main story. And this piece of text from Romeo and Juliet is typically performed by what is known as the chorus, which is an old Greek, which, remember, a long time ago, first video, we talked about Greek choruses. So we have a Greek chorus, essentially. Again, one of those magical theater things. Greek choruses were thousands of years before Shakespeare, and Shakespeare's calling upon that old Greek chorus thing. So we have a Greek chorus coming out saying this text, which is basically the exact story that everyone's going to watch. They're telling you everything that's going to happen in the whole movie. the movie, in the whole play, right off the top of the bat. So it starts two households, both alike in dignity, meaning that there's the Montagues and the Capulets, two households, both alike in dignity, meaning that they have the same, roughly the same amount of money, roughly the same amount of social stature, roughly the same everything, right? They're comparable. In Fair Verona, where we lay our scenes, so this is taking place in Verona, Italy. It doesn't matter. You could change that to be anywhere. I think there's a Verona. I think there's a Verona in California. From ancient grudge, break to new mutiny, meaning that these two households have been fighting for a long time and no one really understands why. From ancient grudge, break to new mutiny. Mutiny means to betray each other. So they've hated each other for a long time and now it's worse for no one knows what reason. Where civil blood makes civil hands unclean, meaning that these people are nice, they're good people, but somehow, because there's this old ancient grudge, it's making them fight, it's making them act outside of their typical character. It's bringing out the worst in both of them. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. Now, I read both of those lines together because that's a full sentence, meaning that from forth the fatal loins of these two foes, so Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet, right? Children of loins, right? We get where kids come from. Loins. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. Meaning that, so star-crossed means that, kind of like Jupiter, John, and Saturn, Sally, the sky and the earth and the universe have crossed and made their whole lives, fate has brought them together and fate has made their love hard. And it's already telling us, take their life. It's already telling us the end of the play. If you know Romeo and Juliet, they both die at the end and by their own hand. And it's really intense that they start the play telling you exactly that that's going to happen. They did not care about spoilers in 1594 or whenever this play was written. Oh no, this was 16. Oh, it doesn't matter. You don't care. Look it up. Google it. Whose misadventured piteous overthrows do with their death bury their parents' strife. Again, this is telling us the end of the play. So they kill themselves at the end of the play. Whose misadventures piteous overthrows do with their death bury their parents' strife. Because they were so tragic and were so sad that because they loved each other and they killed themselves, their parents basically at the end of the play are like, oof magoof, we got to be friends because this is not worth it. Like, this is bad. And it ends this whole ancient grudge, right? Okay. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which, but their children's end, naught could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage. So that's basically saying everything I just said. We're going to watch Romeo and Juliet fall in love. We're going to watch them have problems with their parents. We're going to follow them to the end of the play through death and fighting and scary stuff. And it's going to end this ancient grudge that we've already talked about. And it took death for them to remove that ancient grudge. Now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, we know what traffic is. It's moving, it's people, things happening. So it's what's going to happen on the stage. The which, if you, this is again, first lesson, Greek chorus is talking directly to the audience. The which, if you, audience, with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Meaning, this is important. This is exactly what our lesson is about. If you sit here and watch this play and pay attention, then when you leave the theater and when the play is over, maybe you'll think about conflicts that you have with people, and maybe you'll think about things that are real for you, and maybe people don't have to die and the stakes don't have to get that high and dangerous and upsetting for you and everyone else to talk things through and mend things. So essentially this prologue, and by the way, we can get into poetry. There's a whole other lesson about poetry, but this whole prologue is a sonnet, meaning a love poem. So the Greek chorus is saying, here's a story about love. So if you know sonnet structure from one of our other videos, you know A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, G, G, right? We got that little couplet at the end. And guess what? When Romeo and Juliet meet later in the play, their dialogue makes a sonnet also, which is great evidence to say that they are soulmates and that they love each other. And that's all I have to say about that. So the reason I did that, the reason I told you all of this is this prologue has told you the 5 W's. Okay, I'm going to close this out. You can find it. I'll link it in the description. The reason that's important, the reason that I picked the prologue, is because it gives you almost all of your 5 W's, right? It says in Fair Verona, so that's your where. When is not necessarily said, so you can pick your when. And also where, yeah, Fair Verona, again, you can pick whatever you think is going to be interesting to where Verona is, right? How many, Wakanda, well, I like to think Wakanda's real, but Wakanda's not real. You can set it in Wakanda and that's Verona. Maybe there's a Verona County in Wakanda. It can be anywhere. We know who is important for this one, unfortunately, because the who is not just Romeo and Juliet, but it's the Montagues and the Capulets, right? The who is this conflicting family situation. What, we know that it's about 2 people who fall in love and kill themselves because they can't be together. When, again, flexible. Where, flexible. Why is the most important. And that is the one that I want you to spend the most time with. So if you are going to set Romeo and Juliet and think about this prologue, why would you tell this story? What kinds of given circumstances or 5 W's, why is it interesting? Why do you think Steven Spielberg thought in 2020, 2021, I think it's time to do West Side Story again? Because West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet. Why do you think the original West Side Story happened? Why do you think Mr. Bryan, Miss Danielle, what are some other Romeo and Juliet type stories? We know more. Sometimes there's other Shakespeare ones too.
A lot of times too, if you really think about any story about 2 families, and it doesn't necessarily mean like mother, father, children. It can be 2 different sets of groups that have conflict with each other, right?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of one specific, but there's so many to choose
Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is essentially, the dark side, the rebels and the empire, right? Like it's one and then the other. It's conflict. And we know that the conflict actually is deeper than just, I only think about those original 3 movies, so I'm sorry if I'm not up to the speed on some of this stuff, but it comes from Anakin Skywalker, and his, betraying his love and, it's a family conflict. It's a family drama, essentially. It just happens in space with a whole bunch of stormtroopers. Anything else?
I mean, there's so many that I just, for some reason, I can't think of any, but you're right. There are so many. Then the elements are all the experience, when I use that word Miss Danielle used, the experience is within so many stories. That's what's cool about Shakespeare. That's what's cool about Romeo and Juliet. The core experience is evident in so many movies if you just go and find it. So, yeah, that's why it's so hard.
Yeah. All right, so that's all I'm gonna say. So have fun thinking about your 5 W's for Romeo and Juliet, and I'm gonna bounce this back to my other 2 teaching artists.
Yeah, take some time. You can pause this video and then come back and you can have more reflection with your group, or if you're doing this at home, share it with your family or your friends and see if they have any ideas too. Or what is it, when you share with them, what does it make them think of? What would become their why? Why did they think that you're sharing this story with them?
And then share it with us. All right. After all that, send it to us. You saw that email. And if you didn't, quittenstreet@gmail.com. All right. We want to see what you're coming up with. We really do. All right. And that's what I was going to say. I had a random outburst there. But Miss Danielle, did you want to add anything else before we close up?
No, I think we touched on everything. And I hope you enjoyed your time with us today. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.